Hello, Munam Day One. It's been ages. So I basically decided to start streaming live again. And what's the motivation? Ihe na-emegasi, na Biafra struggle, the things we've been witnessing lately. Um, Obviously, we all know that since the Hakaji Bara Aji kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that the center have not been able to hold. It's just been a whole lot of mess, since then. Wee sikwa na nke ahụ wee bịa jide. Okay, I just want to monitor what's going on my stream. Mazi Simon Ekpa wee bidokwa nke ya wee na-eme. Unfortunately, aka wee kpakwara ya, but then what we have now is quite ridiculous, what we have going on at the moment. So Mua Nogokwan on the sideline. But it's just so sad and so heartbreaking what is going on at the moment, or what the agitation has been turned into. So where sikwan ka nsorokwa wee na-etinye ọnụ na dị okwu, once in a while. It's just been so busy, like a planicha, you just won't be able to do a live stream. But now I've decided to find a way to fit that in. So Weburia, I mean, most of you are not strangers to what is going on or how it's going on at the moment. Like the whole thing is a mess, like a big mess. If you go on Twitter, you come on YouTube, you go on Facebook, all you see is just people who are supposed to be brothers and sisters fighting one another, just talking nonsense about one another, about each other, accusing fingers flying up and down. And then I just sit and ask myself, is this the agitation? Is this the Biafra? Biafra ha ga-ewetara anyị, is this how we're gonna get to the promised land if we carry on like this? But then, so I really don't know how I'm gonna be doing this, but I just want to lay a little background. Okay, first of all, I need to be sure that you guys can hear me, because I'm not sure of my setup. Oh, sorry, guys. I just realized that my mic was off. Okay, it's been quite a long while that I did this live thing. So I will need to gradually get a hang of it. So pardon me. I didn't realize the mic was on. So the idea was for us to hear him out with what he was saying. But then my mic was off, and I don't think that you guys heard anything. So I'll try to do that again, and hopefully this time you will hear him. But actually, what he was basically practically saying is that because not the sex style, and all that. I mean, like seriously, man. I don't know. I don't know. What does this have to do with anything? You see, one thing I've been wondering since January, when all these things started, since Hagachara Finland, we made a declaration, we bido USB, and and then all these things we bido from everywhere. Even I wonder, see, okay, at the end of the day, these people were in the same group at a time. Unu niile nọ na brigi before, unu niile nọ na brigi before. Wee sị na unu niile nọ na brigi, unu niile nọ under Simon Ekpa, as I believe, or emekwu na akpọnyekwa Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, even though I have my skepticism about that. But unu niile na-esokwa Nnamdi, Maazị Nnamdi Kanu, as some of you would want to make us believe. So you were supposed to have been a team of people who were working together. So what happened? What happened that made people snap to the extent of, the extent of the animosity that we see flying about everywhere? So if you were in the same group, assuming that Mazi Simon Ekpa was not arrested, or if he wasn't taken out of the picture, for example, all these people, Mangozi Orabuezo, Ma Adajoramma, Humble Lion, all these people are supposed to be under the same umbrella, under Mazi Simon Ekpa, working as a team. Most of these people were in the same cabinet, working together. So Gezi Hemezri with this sort of hatred that we are seeing, this level of hatred that we are seeing, it baffles me. So does that mean that Namunu na Uksiani Nunu Nile Nunu Bubrigi Nunu no under Mazi Simon Ekpa Nunu Bukwanke Ubini na Unu Jiro Neokoro when noro na that organization, was it that you guys were there with this level of I don't even know, it's something that I've never seen before, like, so ụdị unu na-akpọ onwe unu kịta, otu unu si hate onwe unu, otu unu si ịtụpụta onwe unu, onye hụ ihe ga-egbu ibe ya, the person would facilitate that to happen. Ominiziri na unu abụ emecha Biafra bịa now, for example, how are you guys gonna face one another? Mapsi na-emecha na Biafra bịa, kedu otu unu ga-esi face onwe unu? Ọkwofu Biafra no ka a na-achọ ka onwe ihe ọzọ. Sometimes I ask myself, is there more to this apart from this agitation, apart from us getting Biafra? Onwe something else that most people do not know, that has made them hate themselves to this level, or make them attack one another to this level, So like Genti Honya na Kona about somebody bukwa a fellow Biafran.
Number one, lack of sex. Number one, lack of good sex. All have good sex, but it's not a kind of the kind sweet. It's only sweet one. Only I'm the go no matter people ya happy. I'm going to ya na ya. What you telling me?
Just eri. What does this have to do? Like this Humble Lion, for example, since January, this is all he's been doing. One is such an France. That is all he's done. So how do these people want to convince me that all they are doing are not content creating? Hanile from A to Z. These are content creators that will do anything for the sake of content, for the sake of getting people to watch them, for the sake of making money off YouTube, off Twitter, off Facebook, and wherever else that they can make money off. So they do content, they do stuff that they know that people want to listen to, because Obuna, your aim is agitation, actually, nature, Biafra. These are not the things you'll be after. Now call your fellow Biafran or no, and now makana all the sex stuff. No, makana. I mean, I can understand that people might get upset with other people's attitudes, and then once in a while they come out to express their anger or show how angry they are. That's understandable. But you cannot tell me that when you have made something your business from January to June, then there's more to it, because you are not even interested in the Biafran struggle. Your interest mainly is in creating content that would make you money, because that's what I've seen all of them do, from Remigius. So even Ada, like I said, I'll get to her case at a point. My Remigius, so my Disombola, my Kai, Kelend, all of them, these are content creators that are just making money off the struggle. They are doing everything they can to make as much money they can every week. So the content that they create is to make the money off the struggle. These people are not agitators. They have no, in fact, for most of these people, my Biafra, it doesn't mean it. In fact, if Biafra doesn't come, better for them, because it then means that they will keep creating content and keep making money off the agitation, in pretense. I'm just gonna fast forward some of these things because it's just ridiculous listening to those things.
This is here. So do the corner. Some telling all the things. How do you feel? So you don't really want to make it on social media. Never you move. Never you move. Never you move. Never you move. All because of lack of those things. I do my own issue also. All class of today can without one day. All that anything when you don't live in the area. It's how the program machine.
Okay, so this is it. Like, just I mean, none of them is better than the other. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not really just coming for him because it's humble line. I'm coming for everyone. So I don't want you to feel like, oh, they are all as bad as each other. Sometimes, in my private time, I wonder what Mazen Namdekano will be thinking. This is a situation of hope. When people say, oh, somebody will be turning in their grave, but thank God that Mazen Namdekano is not dead. He would come out to hear, to see the mess, all the hard work that people did for years, what all these people now have turned it to. What have they done? Because of greed? Because he him oh he choputara from, because I've observed for years since he anyị ga-ahụ na since na ekidnapụrụ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu, I've not done this. I've not talked about Biafra. I've not done life. I've not done any. What I did was to take a step back and observe. And I've observed for years, I made declaration in December. I started observing again. I've been observing since December as well till now, just to see the direction things are going, to see the sincerity in people, to see if this thing, is there any viability in it at all, and where any hope that will definitely or surely get somewhere. But what I've seen, sort of, it's selfishness. What I've seen is people obviously putting themselves first, what they would gain, what they would benefit. How would this suit us? How would this benefit us? If I support this person, what will I get out of it? If I don't support that person, what would I get out of it? Or just ndoro ima. So some na me something like that. People dragging positions, people trying to prove what they are not. And sometimes when you hear these people talk, when they boast, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. When they talk about themselves, when they boast, when they insult people, you're just like, wow. Um,
Don't remove. These were our people who came from Nigeria, a lawless country, who doesn't. One year, when it says, carry out 1 year, this month, carry out I don't know who we think about I don't know what he says. As a man, because you know what you go over, because you know respect for your own dignity. I want to make this a lot of women. This woman, I want to know your phone now to see I get that. The woman is here, get out. Woman is here, get out. After hearing all what I get, all what there 5 months ago, you still come back to me to call me. If I don't follow this sense, if I want to sense carry out, you will understand now. I don't what you believe.
Okay, so I mean, to buttress what I've been saying, I mean, like, what's the point of this now? Ma Yochuko, Ma Dajoram, at the end of the day, are they not Biafrans? So, what is the point of you, Iputana, Mbara, if in public, you know, I'm gonna miss him when I English, pardon me. What's the point of you, Iputana, na public, you know, just your buroche no dojo? Teta n'ụra n'ụtụtụ iburu oche nọdụ ọdụ. Your job is to insult your fellow country person. Not just, this is not just a situation of a country person, because when I use a country person, it's so big, so massive. But the Biafran agitation is sort of like a brotherhood, you know, where people try to identify with one another's pain, where people try to, it's like a close-knit family, sort of. So your job abụrụ nnọọ na iteta ụra n'ụtụtụ iburu oche nọdụ ọdụ ka ịbịa tọtuo ka ịbịa kọtuo onye ahụ ịkpọrọ nwanne gị so it makes me doubt if there's really an end to this, or if people like this actually see an end. I really do not believe that most of these people were interest and faith and hope that Biafra is going to come, because the attitude that they put, the way that they behave, the way that they carry these things and carry themselves doesn't give any slight hope, doesn't, that na ha nwere the belief na Biafra ga-abịa, because somebody will believe that, okay, yes, na Biafra no ya na-achọ na ọ ga-abịa. The way ị ga-esi na-treat your fellow Biafran, because at the end of the day, unu niile ga-enwe hope na unu na-ala the same place. Otu ị ga-esi wee na-manage situation, otu ị ga-esi wee na-treat ha will not be like you're even treating them worse than an enemy. Because most of these people, I've never ever heard them talk about Fulani headsmen, Nage Wundi Bani, Mane Mane I need to be even some of these people now Ekumakia. In fact, I've never ever heard them talk about it or talk about the problems that we have in the southeast, you know, at least as Igbo people, or talk about the problems that we have in the so-called Biafra area. No, all they do is attack one another from morning till night. This humble lion, for example, sometimes they are in a group, a WhatsApp group or a Twitter space. I don't know how they connect, but you would know that this is like a group of people, and all they do is to tear down the Adajorama, or mostly Adajorama, you know. So ọ bụrụ na unu nwere believe, yes, na anyị na-achọ Biafra n'eziokwu, and na anyị na-aga na Biafra ahụ ga-abịa, will you be treating one another with so much hatred like this? I don't get it. In fact, ihu ebe ha na-akpọ onwe ha iyi, ebe ha na-agọ ọfọ, that is the one that marvels me. I'll try and get all these videos, you know, for next time. Ebe ha na-agụ ọfọ n'isi onwe ha, otu ha ga-esi anwụ, otu oge ha esi adịrị ha na mma, otu nsi, what is, to what end? To what end? That is why nji na-ajụ onwe m si, onwe ihe ọzọ ndị a na-azọ, onwe ihe ọzọ ha ma that most people do not know. Onwe ihe ọzọ ha na-azọ na-abụghị skweta ọsọ na a na-azọ ka enweta Biafra, ka enwe nnwere onwe, because ọ bụrụ na the end goal bụ ka enwe nnwere onwe, why unu ga-eji wee na-eme onwe unu attack like this? Apụtazie ihe niile bụ ihe kwesịrị ịnọ n'ime ụlọ, apụta na public ekwuo akọtọ everything, ma security omosi ya, ihe niile people na-amaghọ before, everything does outside now, onye ọbụla mazi ya. Ebe people na-azọ no ka m gosi na ọmụnwa ka nwee information, ka m gosi na ọmụnwa ma men on the ground, ka m gosi na ọmụnwa nwee ma na ọmụnwa ka a ga-eso. So people just divulge information, people come out and talk, you know, open their mouth to wow, and just say things that they're not even supposed to say.
So when see everything on the Z, you know, there are stuff that I never knew before that I know now through all this from January till now because of all these doga. And these are things that if you ask me, I would say that it's not everybody is not meant to know about these things, but it's what it is, and it's quite shameful, you know. So I'm just gonna fast forward in because uh, let me hear what he has to say. But when he has okay, anyway, now or someone else from the other faction. I know they hate to hear that there's a faction, but at the end of the day, there's faction. You know that's the truth. So let's see. I think I think he had a call. Let me see what that person said. That person must be one of the people that joined them in the group thing I was talking about earlier.
I don't have the job. She's doing the job anywhere. Some of the women are probably that some people that don't have the work. One of the things probably they're going to have from me. Yeah, well, in this program. Exactly. That's what I was sit down for. You know, Mr. Elias, Mr. Kono. People like the web. The type of program you do not finish. You're not going to say, like my capital. All the Mr. Elias, always dinner, always the scammer, always the fraudster, always the ocean, always the country. Always, you know what I mean with this guy? Open this guy, movie. All those are this movie here. But now they say yes now. What are you gonna do? Why you want to behave like this? Why is he behaving like this? After all this name calling, after tarnishing this guy, image, but now you want to come out of master. You want to
You see, so this is part of what I was talking about earlier. What Lion mentioned there, tarnishing image. We all know when Adadorongman on a group, Ngozi Orabueze, how she talked about people on the other side, people on a group who Ogenkere, you know, and all that. So like what Humble Lion mentioned now, for example, after tarnishing somebody's image, it turns around. That is exactly my point. Like the way unu niile sa tarnish image unu, unu niile, I'm not taking any one of you out. Otu unu sa tarnish image unu, right, left, center. Ọ bụzie na Biafra mechazie abịa, kedizi anya unu ga-eji ahụ onwe unu? How will you now I didn't understand. Kedu otu unu ga-esi emegharị ihe mere? Is this a child's play? Egwuregwu ka ọ bụ for you guys? I don't probably egwuregwu for you guys, because I remember the last time Ada mechara si n'ọkwa nkọ ka ya na-akọ. I mean, are you for real? No nkọ ka ị na-akọ. So is that what is going to turn to be at the end of the day, after all this, after all said and done? Chineke mebe na Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Pụta, for example, and we go back to status quo and the agitation, you know, kicks off again in the right direction, the way it should be. Okay, unu ga-emezi mgbe ọnụ tọnụzie na-akwa maka na na-ese okwu na nkọ ka ị na-akọ wee to the extent that na-epụta na-aga ọfọ n'isi somebody kpọrọ okay na onye a kwesịrị ịbụ nwanne gị, na-aga ọfọ n'isi onye ahụ na ọ ga-anwụ, na ihe ọ gaghị ahụ ihe ọma, na like na unu karịkwara m honestly. So henji na-ajụ n'unu si ma o nwezi ihe ọzọ, is there something else apart from the agitation? Because the way you guys are going about this, it's definitely not the you guys are not agitators. You're not agitating for Biafra. You're agitating for something else that I need to fight, but we need to know what it is. You're definitely not agitating for Biafra, because someone like Humble Lion na imepere ọnụ wee sị na ihe Ada kọrọ Elias, for example, Kochachaya, when she was on the other side. It's the same thing now. So I go and say, acquire, na acquire, na acquire. What if situation changes tomorrow? How would you reconcile today? How? So Otunu say treat your now, for example. Have you guys decided that you're gonna be lifetime enemies? Na ọbụgodi sef na-emecha nnọọ unu tacha ahụ a niile wee nweta the Biafra unu na-achọ na unu ga-abụzi lifetime enemies cause mgbe ahụ unu ga-egbufu onwe unu so that you don't see one another each other anymore or one another anymore or you don't relate with one another anymore. I don't get it. What is the end goal of this? That is why you say all niile from A to Z. You're all content creators. You're creating content because na kono people like violence, people like kebana kono. So they will come and listen to you. You make whatever money you can make out of the struggle, and probably you're okay with it. My Biafra, as long as you keep cashing out. Because I don't understand Nandisina. No, the same Biafra, the same location, the same thing. But no, you want to drag and go first. So what I said that Biafra. Kendi gano zenyazi. Naj. Kendi gano niya.
Some people mention understanding what is the United States of Biafra. What is there? What goes on with the one that's around? Nobody movement yet. Yeah, that's not going to be another. What kind of body movement yet? Somebody going here, feeding here, something.
I have got friends and that Finland. Carrying out don't want to photograph, don't want to video best. Who wants to share videos, game DGDR, be now today. You see, they work against themselves. That's why you're already. That.
Okay, guys. So I was trying to hear. I was trying to hear what one of his scholars was saying, but then I think I got at the wrong spot. So at the end of the day, where I'm going with this is Oboni just joined and thank you for joining Ahambun Kechi first. Thank you for being here. So if you're wondering what is going on here, what is going on here is that I am asking the question, Kedihe ndị atọ nugoro the Biafra agitation too. I mean, a few years ago, it was something of pride to say that you want Biafra, you're agitating for Biafra, you're contributing money, you're doing everything you can to make sure that we get Biafra. It was something of pride, to be part of. Just a few years ago, it was something of pride to be part of. But the way things are, it's unfortunate that things have gone down the drain, just in a twinkle of an eye, that you don't even recognize the struggle anymore, because as soon as akpọrọ Nnamdi Kanu ndị agaga tọrọ Nnamdi Kanu, things just went down the drain. Ihe anyị nọzi n'elu ya bụzi ịkọ ọnụ, DOS esekwa autopilot osekwa emegide nke ahụ na-afịa ebe niile, emechaa ọ dịka ga-asị na nke ahụ abịago bịa julatata obere oyi, esi na nke ahụ wee pụọ. And the autopilot people started having a bit of structure. Mazi Simon Ekpa started bringing and building some structure to it. And then people like me were on the sideline just looking and skeptical and thinking, okay, we see where this is going. And then they started talking about declaration for the 2nd of December, I think. And then it started looking serious, and people were like, oh wow, you never know, this can actually be real. And a few people were hopeful and looking up to it and just waiting to see what's going to happen from there. Apart from the violence that was coming out, from some quarters in our place. People were thinking, okay, this is looking real. Unfortunately, it went down the drain again, and it's actually worse at this point since that declaration that was made. It became a mess. It became a big mess. So I'm trying to give you some bit of history in case you just joined in. It became a big mess since that declaration that people like me can't even recognize the struggle anymore. So a lot of people have become disenchanted. A lot of people have become disconnected from what is, because we cannot even say this is what is going on. We cannot recognize the struggle anymore because people have made it their private business. People have turned it to, oh, I don't know, man. When I say content creation, it's not even enough to describe the mess that they have turned it into. Just ndọrọ 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 onye ka ibe ya na ọmụ bụ eze, ọmụ gachi, ọmụ ga-abụ nke, ọmụ bụ nke, ọmụ bụ nke a. You don't know who I am, this and that and that, and I'm wondering, because these are people that were all in Brigi under Simon Ekpa. Like I said before, all these people were under Simon Ekpa. They were all in Brigi. Most of them were in the same cabinet, working as one. So what changed? Unu niile so plan ya ga Finland for redeclaration. So you all went to do that as a team, and you actually achieved your aim, which was to do the redeclaration, and you did it, which was massive. Like, wow, they could actually do this, even with Simon Ekpa not being in the picture. So instead of these people to build from the good fortune that they had accumulated by that declaration, they now allowed everything to go down the drain because of Ndoro Ndoro. And the way they wash their dirty linen in public, it's something that is spectacular, that I've never seen before. So when Arjuna say, onwezi ihe ọzọ bụ the motivation, but the drive, ihe na-push ndị a to this level, is there something else apart from, to get Biafra? Because there must be a motivation, ihe na-motivate people to go to this level of animosity with one another. Because open not just no maka or Biafra, Biafra, people would, slow down at a point and be like, no, one name. You want one nana here, no, I cannot do this to this person. But no, there is no, it's like a hold, it's kicking, there's no hold back kind of thing. Everybody's on a speed lane. Like the way, the energy you're supposed to use to fight the so-called enemies, but the energy ija fight is it onwegi. It's like a family that, family something na in a main encroach. Instead of the family to be together to fight the encroachers, they will start fighting one another. That's exactly what is going on. Then in that Josita's family is okay. Are you fighting one another? Or unu buchazia no unu kanja na bezi me unu encroach weruzia onodo for gini. I don't understand. Ko unu buchazia no unu, or maybe only nke fatazino, only nke ahụ carries their own, or what? So it's quite shameful. Like I said, I'm not in the side of no one, nobody at all. I'm not in anybody's side. I've been on the sideline, watching, monitoring, taking notes, researching, learning and relearning, just to understand where these people are going with this, or what we might expect at the end of the day. But it doesn't look like we should be expecting anything, because all these people put together, any of them, that any thing to convince me that these people actually want Biafra to come, or that they even have a plan further than this, apart from these things that they do, come out on social media, talk about Nkechi, talk about this person, talk about that person, drag themselves down, call themselves Fulani, call themselves Hausa, call themselves terrorists, call themselves names. That is all. Nutubekwa any day as na ndị apụta now butuo nsogbu anyị nwere n'ala Igbo, nsogbu e nwere na Biafra, sị ka a na-atakọli ya ka a magoji ụzọ anyị ga-esi wee find their solution. So ihe niile ha ma bụ just to drag one another from onye elu to onye ala, from onye ala to onye elu. That is all their interest. So how do I now want to get convinced that people who move like this really, really want to get Biafra, or are really, really interested in the Biafra restoration, or the struggle, or the agitation? I don't know. I don't see that. There is no conviction in that. But then they seem to convince a lot of people as well, because you see people donating to them, you see people, believing their argument, you see people joining them to attack one another. And I ask myself, what is actually convincing these people? What is it that they are seeing that I don't see? Because I would like to see it. No. He had a lot of goodwill. He had a lot of support, because you can't just see it. You can understand it. Compare it to what is going on now. You can't. Just men on ground, women on ground, you would see that at the end of the day, where it all boils down to is bring your money, support, donate. But you do not see any other thing, that makes sense, that tells you, yes, there's progress being made, or there's movement. There's no movement at all. Apart from that redeclaration, which was part of what Mazi Simon Ekpa initiated. But it looks like it just got there and stopped. After the redeclaration, Hasokin had itself go there, Brigi. Now they have USB in the Gasemba. And actually, okay, dissolve. We still want to be Brigi, this and that and that. Oh, then everything fell apart. So, Bruza Ihanos even Dorondoro Chichizi, who is the higher power? Who would people listen to? Who will people follow? Who is commanding more? Who is not command? That is just all that is being. Equal passage, you not support, you not contribute. you people joking. How dare you ask somebody such a question? It's a free will thing if somebody wants to. So I'm not gonna make this, be too long, because it means that I'll just keep repeating myself. But I believe that I've been able to make a little point. I'm gonna take it from here. Like, this is not a one-off thing, because I've been looking at this and just thinking, okay, how do I come in? How do I come in? How do I come in? So it's not gonna be a one-off. These people, they like analyzing. So as they analyze themselves, let us analyze them as well. I think that is just the key summary of the whole thing.
You were a Christian. You were a Christian. Now Jesus will come. Jesus will come. Jesus will come. But Jesus had to be Malika me to be. And they come right? So, likewise, what if we bring our job? And when you were Jesus, you don't say, what Nigeria, so, since Nigeria in distress. They be doing the way away. Or what they want to watch, they pay a right to watch. They don't give a air engineer. Why I'm saying this is this. Every year, they anti the do. I think I need it wasn't a number. Or whatever say I do. They are their bride, they are Tony Sinner. Yamawa don't you get bring this government of USB down. I general go. Yeah, but that video actiwa. Ransack one. Destroy one. It is a. Then, yes, we should stop talking about her. We must, because every day she brings a new lie. Every day she brings a new lie. We are focused on her because whatever they know, let me just say, and those people that are watching our torch, are watching religious. So whenever we deliver those people from our torch, we have delivered people from.
Okay, nwanne m nwaanyị, ọ dịka gasị na onye a nwaanyị a na-ekwu okwu na ọ na-ege ihe a na-ekwu, but obviously she's not, because this is a program ha meburu eme. My own is live going on just now. But it looks like she answered the question that I just asked, which is, why do they have to keep doing this? So now when they kwụsị na ndị mmadụ na-asị ha kwụsị ikwu maka Ada, why o ji bụrụ sọsọ maka Ada ka ha na-ekwu, ha anaghị ekwu maka Biafra Unite or Remigius or other people, and now na-akọwa kere otu ha ga-esi akwụsị ya, and because their aim is to cure people from listening to her. I guess that's the only point I could make from what she said. But have you now cured people from listening to her? No. Do you think you will eventually cure people from listening to her? No. You see, the thing is, commotion sells, you know. Ebe a na-akọ ọnụ, ebe a na-eti mkpu, ebe a na-aba mba, people just, I think it's something that had to do with the brain. People just want to listen to that. People want to hear that. That's why you get like I've been on social media now, somebody na akuzi ihe nwere ike ịbara mmadụ uru every day pụta ọkụzie, inwe ike ihe onye ahụ onwe ọ dị lucky, onwe 10 followers, 100 followers. But onye ga-apụta every day ọ na-aba na-eti na-aba mba, just na-akọ eri ihe nwere isi na-aba mba, ị ga-ahụ onye onwe 1 million followers. People just like violence. People just want to know ebe a na-eme tigbuo zọgbuo. So do you now think that nigga cure people from following Adajorama or listening? Because if you were gonna be able to achieve that, you would have achieved it by now. This thing started since January. Well, this part of December actually. Not January. So do you now think that you would be able to cure people from supporting whichever side that they believe they want to support, or being on whichever side of the divide that they feel like they want? No, you cannot. And you know that you cannot. You're just lying to yourself. You know that you cannot. You know you cannot stop that. You know you cannot stop people from listening to her or joining her. You know that it's not possible that you can do that. But the thing is, unu na-eme because na onye na-ekpe ekpere na ihe ọ na-ekpe ekpere ya na o nwetabịa ma onye ahụ ọ ga-akwụsị. So ekpere unu bụkwa gịnị? Unu believe na unu ga-akwụsị ndị mmadụ from join Ada or follow Ada, which you know is not possible, that you cannot do that. You guys are instead unu you are making the situation worse, because you all of you have just shown us and I wonder and say, okay, Biafra, for example. Oh yeah, is this the kind of country that we're gonna be proud of, to say, oh, that we are Biafra, with people behaving like this, with people moving mad like this? Oh yeah, Ogabo Bodondiara. Obodo ndị isi adịghị mma, obodo onye mee ihe sọrọ ya, obodo onye gbuo nwanne ya, obodo onye kọgbuo nwanne ya n'ọnụ, obodo onye, that is nke na-akacha m njọ bụ ebe ndị a na-agọrọ ụfọ n'isi onwe ha. Even your enemy, somebody kpọrọ onye iro gị, unu mana unu bụ sworn enemies, there are things you won't even say about that person, or you won't even do, but these people do it on one another. So it doesn't look like there's any end in sight. And most of you are enjoying this situation because you're benefiting from it. Uru ala di mma, uru ndị nze. You guys, all niile from A to Z, you are benefiting from it. That is why you now choh a way to stop it. Because, like, if you stop talking about one another, for example, then you can focus on talking about the main issues that should be talked about. Imagine that somebody that doesn't know about Biafra goes on Google or comes on YouTube to type in, okay, and decides, can I go do research? Can I go about this thing? What is it all about? And then the person types in Biafra, for example. Ọ bụrụ nnọọ ihe ga-apụta gbogbo tigbo ndị achịkọta ekwu ọnụ from everywhere onye a na-aka ibi onye a na-aka ibi onye the person will just be like, oh wow, this is nonsense. But open focus on the main thing issues, the main issues that are supposed to be focused on for the thing then people will take you more seriously. But in fact, I don't even know how you people have the time. Like sometimes it's 7 a.m. You're already in that group, talking about sometimes you do it 2 times a day, 3 times a day. Space. Yay. Or somebody that is supposed to say, okay, no, yeah, one negi, for example. So from what 191 now, they don't intend to stop. And that is ridiculous. That is why in US, no was some people are hube. Now, who has it the agitation? In case you're gonna agitation for. Oh, because I'm gonna agitation so we in unity, in one and one voice. But even if I say okay, and also ofu ndị nwere ike iweta Biafra, na enwekwara ike enwekwa USB, enwekwa brig, enwekwa masop, enwekwa nke nwa onye ọzọ esikwa ebe o si. Yeah, I mean, I support that. Fair enough. But then at the end of the day, all those groups, I got the 100, they pussy no Biafra ka ha chọrọ kenye, and that Biafra these whole people known at the 100 groups will still come back to the default and be in that Biafra. So but I think that I've seen a trend. I've seen a trend, actually. Maybe I will talk about it some other time. I've seen a trend. So that trend is what is convincing me to think that most of these people that come out to say na ha na-achọ Biafra definitely when let's see what they are saying. Onye akpọ na phone na ihe onye ahụ kwuru na Kelenna bụ worst enemy ya na struggle a. Somebody gị na na the same struggle. Unu na-eme the same agitation. Inwe ọnụ imepe si na onye ahụ bụ your worst enemy. What sense does that even make? Imepe ọnụ si na onye gị na na-eme the same struggle. Ọ dị ka gasị na gị na mmadụ gara ịchụ nta, ekwuzi ebe a na-achụ nta, ofu onye atọ ọnụ zese ya na ụkwụ gị dịskwa ka ukwu efi. So somebody gị na-eme the same struggle ka imepere ọnụ na public. They proud. Say, no, who be your worst enemy in this struggle. How does that even make sense? So tell now who made the same struggle, who's your enemy, your supposed enemy, or gabuzegin to you. So these are the issues. These are the things I'm talking about. Why must it be like this? Why does it have to degenerate to this extent? But no, I have to there ihe kwesịrị ịkọ a na-akọzi ihe ọzọ. Ahapụ ara ga-aṅụ a na-aṅụzi akpụ. because of people's greed, people's selfishness. Onye ọbụla na-achọ ebe ọ ga-esi abalị a, onye ọbụla ga-achọ ka ọ bụ ka a sịkwa na ọnyanwa. I mean, nobody cares. If you do good, people will see it. Ihe ọma ị na-eme gị will speak for you. At the end of the day, eventually, if Biafra comes, people see, people will know your input. So you need to know ịbịa na-abụzi ha na-azọ azọ. Ijizie wee mebizie all the effort that every other person has put in. It's part of what I was talking about just now. Na kele nna ahụ, na hụkwa kele nna ahụ, na kele nna ahụ bụ her worst enemy. Onye gị na ya na-azọ ofu Biafra bụ your worst enemy. Okay. Oh, great. I don't know what I've done.
Don't move. Oh, I want to. Yeah. Oh, I want to. The kind of, I'm not open for you.
Nke a na-akọ iri, ọ na-ala access. Nke anyị enye access, ebe ma na ọ na-ala access. Ebe nwere adị anọ ihe ọ na-ala akị, ga anyị enye ya nụ ka ọ kwụsị ịla akị ka ahụ jụọ ya oyi ka o zuo ike ka ntị zukwuo naanị nwe ike.
Isi kwikwi eji wee bịa na-eme nwanne m nwoke just na-ata ya na ọbịa wepụta ihe nwanne m nwoke kwukọ ha niile bụ nwanne anyị si na anyị anazịa na obodo anyị onye mere njọ ofesi ya njiri onye mere ofesi mmanya na ewepụtara ihe iman kwuru so bịa na laịs anyị anọ dị good wee mere ya ekpere ndụ oke because of because na nothing not well na the man has support oge nkere or support their own breaking no their own way as own breaking onye na-enwezi ihe oge ji webe na-ata nke Ikenna na o mere ihe dama ekpere
nne the reason why o ji wepụta the thing na Ikenna na chi for the back na ọ mara na ihe na Ikenna onye ha ji wepụta the thing the woman, this particular woman, this adult in France, also na Ikenna have wake up now. No man, all that is going is mistake that is falling back. So unu get your food your man don onye the woman wepụta the Ikenna. Ndewo.
Na kelenda ebe gbasara ihe not for about 30 ihe na web na-asị ka ọ na-asị dibịa nwa ga-agbara ya n'aka na Ikenna ga na-asị ka ọ na-asị because that woman bụ iti otu nwa because anyị na-eme ka o ruo ndị na-ege anyị ntị the reason why o ji aka this man so mụ na agụgo everything nwanne m nwaanyị ihe ka ntụkwa odokwa m nwa anya because that one the reason why I submit.
Oh ya no, so a na-azọ Biafran struggle. Nwaanyị ibe gị ka ị ga-apụta na public na-akpọ nwaanyị ibe gị ashawo. Nwaanyị ibe gị ka ị ga-apụta somebody gị na na-azọkwa the same struggle. Ịpụta ịkpọ ya ashawo, ịpụta ịkpọ ya ntakpọ ya imo. I don't get it. Unu bụ esi m n'ọkwa ofu n'ọka enweta Biafra ka a na-achọ. A ga-enwekwa ihe ọzọ a na-achọ na-abụghị ọsọsọ inweta Biafra. I don't know. Because if there's no other thing motivating all these people put together, why would they hate themselves to this extent? Can na ajụsi onwe m ike. Ọ bụ na onweghị ihe ọzọ ha na-benefit. Ọ na ọ bụ na onweghị ihe ọzọ ha na-ele anya inweta. Why ha ga-eji hate onwe ha to this extent? Ọ bụ na ofu Biafra anụnwa ebidoro ekwu okwu ya since ka onye ọbụla ka na-achọ. I doubt it. Because amam ihe ga-eme gị ka ịpụta na public nwaanyị ibe gị ịkpọ ya ashawo, ịkpọ ya nta, ịkpọ ya imo. Chọrọ ime ihe ị ga-akọ nwaanyị ibe gị ọ bụrụ ịkọ ya ashawo. Does that even make sense? Another thing we hear about sometimes, around all these people. I see our leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our PM Simon Ekpa, our DPM Ngozi Oraveza, DPM, our APM Oge Nkere. But if you igezi ọnụ mmiri okwu ha na ụdị agwa ha na-akpa, ị ga-ama na these people enwe any connection with Nnamdi Kanu. But they're just putting that name there because they know that it's sentimental to some people. This Biafra thing is sentimental. And if you take away Ojukwu, for example, from Biafra, take away the current struggle, for example, if you take away Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from it, a lot of people will not listen to you. But deep down, Obindia, he had anything to do with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, no connection with him, neither do they even want to have anything to do with him. But they keep chipping that name in because it's like an emotional blackmail to some people. Oh, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, okay, these people can chop Biafra. Nah, it's not true. They are not. They don't have anything to do with Mazi, no connection with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, no emotional connection whatsoever. They don't even care whether Moputa. For them, it's moved on. It has moved on for them. But they keep chipping Nnamdi Kanu. I say Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. This they don't consider him as leader because they hanaha agwa igosiri na ha consider Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as leader. Or the way they have treated him or treated his family, his wife and his children, doesn't show how were any regard or respect for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at all. But I believe that will be a talk for another day for me. But it's something I will definitely have to talk about.
Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. It might be said, man, let me off my don't withdraw. Actually, we're for now. Don't debate.
People like this, Bundi na awunye fuel.
One young man said that he said, he's a man of the ground.
Bundi na awunye fuel, like I said that I was saying earlier that there are people who fortunately for these people, listen to them, follow them, buy whatever they are selling, help them to attack other people. Maka ewezụga ndị anụwa bụ ndị na-abịa akpọgasị na program or na-comment na-ejoin ha na-eso ha na-eme attack other people. Who knows? Maybe all these things would have died down. But because the hammer that there are people who are buying what they are selling, there are people they are speaking to, there are people that so they will keep saying it because in their want to keep hearing it. And those are the people that support their channels. So like when you can see no continue no na and all that, So these are like core members and core supporters of the channel. And you would want to do things that people that watch you want to see. So these are the problems. These are the problems. Ndị kpọkwa onwe ha Biafra, instead unu ga-achọ ụzọ a ga-esi okay ka eme ka peace ka eme udo na ihe a na-eme adịghị mma. It doesn't look good at all, not on anybody, not on anything. Even as anyị nwa bụ ndị Igbo say, just na ikwetara Biafra, ikweta na Biafra, just the fact na Igbo onye Igbo, the just the whole thing is a mess. Like just the fact when you see or hear things that are going on, it depresses you. Like, wow, is this what we have become as Igbo people, for example? So these people are not even helping matters. They are rather fuel. Continue or continue roll when. Anyway, I'm going to this and Simon Epapota ka o dozizi okwu ka ha nwee nke o chuziri ha nwee ike wee marụzie nke bụ nke and all that. Ka mụ na onwe m sokwa ha wee nwee olileanya kwa Wednesday ka ọ ga-aga ka a ga-discuss his bail in court. So ka m sokwa ha wee nwee olileanya that because all these people bụ ndị na-eso Maazị Simon Ekpa ha niile from A to Z bụ ndị otu Maazị Simon Ekpa. They are the ones doing all this nonsense. So that's how we olileanya na Maazị Simon Ekpa that he's going to put a stop to all this. If I want to be sincere to you, people's greed and selfishness have gone too far that certain things may not be able to be reversed anymore. But I'm not going to say much on that because I would like to see it happen. That he comes back everywhere, Joey. That would be a miracle that most of us would be happy to see. If not for anything else, just for the fact na ndị Igbo na-apụta na-eto onwe ha unyi n'ihu everywhere na public. And for the mess that they have made of the Biafra struggle. So let there be an end to all the nonsense. That would be fantastic. That would be so good. It would be something that I would personally want to see happen as soon as possible. Yeah, so in the group, and they come in a group every day. All they do is talk about one Hawaii about that. Chika Ike. They told me something nah. Okay, something nah. I wonder sometimes, you see. Onwe ihe ga-eme ma ọ bụrụ na asị oke otu a ndị abịa kewa ndị nke a na-aza brigi ndị nke a na-aza USB ndị ọbụla nwee ndị na-asọpọtụ ha. Assuming that everyone just carries on like that, you know, being what they want to be, otu ahụ na-emekwa ihe nke ha otu ha si eme, ndị brigi na-eme ihe ha believe ya, ndị USB na-emekwa ihe ha believe ya. What would have happened? Would the world come to an end, like without them tearing each other or one another apart the way they are doing? And we carry me if that had happened. What would that have stopped? Or see the agitation. Mobro no now na see that na okay. Ebo Ngozi Orabeze bia declare USB. Ndị nke Simba. And we want to remain in status quo. Oh, fair enough. Okay, let's assume that had happened. Ndị nke kewazaru nke ha, ndị nke kewaru nke ha, ndị a nwe support nke ha, ndị a nwe support nke ha, ndị ọbụla na-emekwa ihe a na-eme. Without every day unu abịa na-drag onwe unu, na-adọ onwe unu vam every day, na-disgrace ya ndị Igbo everywhere up and down. Without using that strategy of let's tear everybody apart, let's tear ourselves apart, let's tear one another apart. Does that mean that you guys cannot function? USB, can it not function without tearing Brigi apart? Brigi, can it not function without tearing USB apart? I don't know. Oh, Ajuju can naju. Yeah, but Ajuju nile naju ko onwem. Okwe kan sokwa na ajukwa ebe a now. Onwe ihe ga-eme ma ọ bụrụ na asị nọ ndị USB otu ahụ unu si believe nke unu n'ubu 40 states of Biafra na unu enwerugo onwe unu nweziri country nke unu na functions, unu nwe governors, nwe counties, nwe ihe niile, unu na function kwa na-emeri ihe unu otu ahụ unu si wee chi ime ya. Ndị nke brigi believe na ha ka nọ na exile, na ha na-eme diplomatic missions and trying to get people to support and all that. Na-emekwa nke ha kwa na-use their own strategy to ha sikwa chokwa use ya na-eme ya. Onwe ihe karị imebi, onwe ihe karị ime. What's the worst that can happen if things stays like that without able na the main functions of these two organizations are to drag each other down, drag ndị Igbo down, drag the Biafra struggle down. Onya bụ ọrụ the two organizations ketara. And where is so sad is that these are people that were in the same place just few weeks ago. I will use weeks because as at December, Hanile kanona Biafra government in Eza. Hanile so plan ya ga me kedi hanapia game redeclaration. They went there as a unit, as a team. Before overnight, ebeni na was a kata kata kiti kata kata. So if it had happened that people, because people with their own convictions, with their own belief, which you can't judge them for standing where they want to stand. But what will stop USB imewe henke ha brig na eme henke ha onyo ndị ọbụla kwanyere onwe ha ugwu ọhara ịbụzi free for all fight and unu na-eme without focusing on the main goal. Ihe onye ọbụla no bụ idragi. I mean, kedu otu ị ga-esi wee pụta onye gị ya na-azọ the same Biafra struggle ịmakwa na Nigeria attack unu bụ agitators, terrorists. Ịpụtazia na public another agitator ị na-akpọ onye ahụ terrorist. Is that not stupidity? That jọrọ mma ka nna agwa this one. Is that nke ahụ ọ bụghị iberibe? Nigerian government attack unu n'unu bụ ndị kedu ihe bụ terrorist Igbo? I don't know. N'unu bụ ndị terrorist. Then gị nwepụtazikwa onye gị ya na-azụkwa the same agitation ahụ kwa, because all of you, whether me like it or not, whether me no bring no use the box kwa gị nọrọ, you are all classified. Unu niile bụ the same peg ka ejiji unu. Then ịpụtazikwa na public ejirikwa ọnụ gị na-akpọzi na-asị na ihe aka unu bụ, to the extent na unu na-egbuzi onwe unu. to the extent na na ndị nke a bụ ndị na-alụrụ ndị nke ọgụ ndị ka ndị na-alụrụ ndị nke ọgụ unu pụta na public na-enwe ọnụ si na ndị na-alụrụ ndị nke ọgụ na ndị na-alụrụ ndị na ha ji amụkọtara wee gbakpọ onwe ha tụfịa akwa ofu Biafra ahụ ka a na-achọkwa ka onwe ihe ọzọ ọ bụkwa na unu na-achọ different ihe a ọ bụghị na asị na ndị nke a bụ ndị Naijiria ndị nke a bụ ndị Bịa unu niile bụkwa ofu ndị Bịa ofu ala Igbo ahụ ofu 5 states ofu ọ dịrị n'ala Igbo ka ihe niile na-emegodi for now asị unu ji amụkọtara wee gbuo onwe unu ụfọdụ nwe unu pụta unu na-ekwu obi a na-atụ unu na-eko hey nna utubekwa m dị ihe nke a before biko na ụmụnne m thank you for joining in m ga-abịa ọ gwara ka ọ hagodi m n'ọnụ tata nke a bụ just preamble ka m wee it's sort of a test run that I've done to see how this goes, but I think it's gone well. Could be better, but there should be some improvement by next time. So I've done the test run and it worked, so I'm gonna see it through. And thank you so much for joining in. And if you want to keep up, please subscribe to my channel, and so you can join me next time. You'll get a notification, when I come next time. So we'll keep at this. Who knows? Probably some of us might be able to start talking sense into them, and who knows, they might start reasoning and start backtracking and try to get themselves back to what it should be, because what we have now is a complete mess. It shouldn't be like this. Shouldn't be like this. And then feeling that should do better, but some of them are even worse. It shouldn't be like this. There is no reason why it should be like this at all. At all. So I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now. Okay, I figure out where to end this. Yeah.